Hello. Now, I know it's a bit random, but today I thought I would do a review on the Dacia Sandero. I know that some pronunciation is Dacia, but I've been calling it Dacia because of James May on Top Gear for a while now, so I thought I will continue calling it the Dacia. Anyway, if I very quickly come to the side of it, what I will do is turn the camera around. Hold on. So obviously I start this review of this car with all the doors open because this is 2024 March, and this Dacia Sandero, I believe, is a 2016, and I think for its retail value, its value on the market today, being a 6-year-old car, between 5 and 6 years old, I think this has to be one of the best value for money cars that you could possibly buy, because obviously it's a budget motor vehicle. Is it budget? I don't really know. I don't think it is a budget vehicle. It is a motor car built to a specification and standard and price point that reflects its perceived value, I suppose. But for me, something like a motor car is a thing that is utility. It allows you to drive from A to B. You can see that this is a 4-door, and I can fit. I'm 6'2", and I can fit in the back seat no problem. The driving position has been fantastic. It's nothing special really, but driving it for lengths of time, I've never really found a problem. I'm comfortable when I arrive at my destination, and I know that that sort of thing is important. The back seat has been very good. No one has ever complained about that back seat, and in fact I believe I've actually had a snooze on that back seat when I was tired on one occasion. The boot is, I've left these items in here for your reference. There are some walking boots in that bag in the corner, and there's a beach towel and a rain jacket there. I don't know the size of that boot, but I would say it's as big as any small 5-door hatchback. I've been able to get everything inside there that I've ever wanted to. I suppose the only thing that I could possibly say is that this ledge here, it is quite high up. So when you put, if I put my hand there, that's the height of this ledge. If you put a shopping bag down, for example, like this, you can probably see how high that ledge is. Now, most of the time that ledge is absolutely not a problem, and in fact from that bag there you can see that there's probably 30 centimeters of height, between 20 and 30 centimeters. But it also does provide a little bit of function, because you can imagine putting a bag in there, it would fall against here, and that would be a desirable thing. It isn't going to fall out, and I suppose it stops you, sitting inside it, sitting on it here. But in actual fact, you can sit on here, and it's a nice height to get your bum onto the side. Anyway. The boot is really fine. I can't really think of a negative there. The tyres are a box standard. You can probably see the sizing on the side there. Is it 165 by 35 or something like that? I've never looked, but I know that 185 by 165, I think it says there. Sorry, I can't see right now, but I know that cars like this, the tyres and wheels that they choose tend to be some of the most popular, well-used, most popular size tyres that you can buy. So that tends to mean that changing tyres on a vehicle like this is going to be the most cost-effective. Now, of course, it is a manual. You can see the manual stick there, and it's a 5-speed with a reverse, of course, and I'm not a petrol, a manual car fan, to be honest. And so it's interesting, and also I've never been a fan of black as a colour for a car, because if you are in a warm country, the black, of course, retains more heat. In fact, it makes the car like an oven, especially if you're in a Mediterranean-based country. It is very, very hot. So so one of the other reasons that I wanted to review this is that this car is, there are three things I don't like about it. Number one, it's petrol. Number two, actually, I can't say that, because I less like diesel, mainly because of the sound of a diesel, and the fact that it's dirty when you're refueling. So if I had to choose petrol or diesel, I would definitely go for petrol. But being manual and being black, there are two things that I never choose for a motor car. But I know that many people like black as a colour for a car, so I fully understand that. It's more of a preference towards your taste in colours and that sort of thing. But I wanted to show you the 1.1 engine, because once again, for the cost of this car and what it does and its perceived value, 1.1 is obviously not a large engine, but it's a four-cylinder 1.1. The horsepower, I imagine, is about 70 horsepower, 75, which for a five-seater car, it is enough to push this tin box along the road and get you where you want to be. It's certainly not it's not quick, but it does the job absolutely fine. Miles per gallon, fabulous. It seems to run on fresh air. It will go forever on a full tank, which I think is about 60 litres. But once again, before I close the bonnet, I thought I'd show you the engine. Now remember, this is 6 years old, well, between 5 and 6 years old, and that's how dirty the engine bay is. And it's really not that dirty, considering. Imagine, where that's been, and the moisture and the air from outside, does enter in the engine bay. So inevitably you're going to have outside pollution, the road spray, and moisture over everything. So that's probably a very, very clean example. I was quite amazed myself. And one last thing before I close the bonnet, look at the battery. That is a factory original battery, and Renault Nissan, because I believe that Dacia is part of Renault Nissan. And I thought that was interesting. But let me close the lid, because I think we've there we go. That's a nice, satisfying sound. And why don't I close the doors, because I probably haven't shown you the car yet. And the doors close very nicely. Nothing special, but it's very nice. I like the light clusters. I think they are very pleasant. For me, on a white coloured car, that's going to look very nice, or a dark grey, that sort of thing. Yes, it is a tin box on wheels, but it's a very cost-effective. I think for its cost, I think incredibly good value for what this car is, and based on its value, it would be very hard to look at other cars purely on terms of value. You would have to be very objective to arrive at a business case to spend lots more money on a more expensive car, when if you're looking at it purely from a practical point of view, this car is doing everything that another car could do at a fraction of the cost. And it's an impressive thing, really. I think for its value, that is a super car. My own personal preference is not black and not manual. I would have electric and automatic and white most probably. So those three things it doesn't have. But why I don't mind that is that I understand its form and function and the cost of that form and function. And I can say it is excellent. Because I think this has a value right now of perhaps $4,000, maybe $5,000, maybe £4,000. I don't know, depend on mileage. This hasn't done too many miles, so that's one interesting factor. Have I shown you the inside? Actually, why don't I open this door? And so we've got the switch to turn off the airbags there. And so the interior is, you know, it's just very practical, and it's fit for purpose. Because it's 6 years old, 2016 I believe, it has a slot for your CDs. Now, I don't think anyone uses CDs anymore, but it has a USB at the side, so you can actually access your music files that way. At the moment there's a cable in there because it attaches to a smartphone there. But there you go. It's you know, nothing you don't need and everything you do need. Controls for the heating, gear stick, electric front windows, a 12 volt socket right there, a manual handbrake. I know that lots of cars have automatic handbrakes at the moment. And there's one other thing that I wanted to point out. I know it's something little, but these door panniers I think are the best I've ever seen because they're very big. Now this is a small umbrella, but it goes in there so nicely. There's a raindrop there. But I've put sandwiches in there, things to eat, that sort of thing. And I've thought to myself, I really like these door panniers. It's one of my favourite things about this car. And let's go to the rear pannier. Yeah, it's the same sort of thing, nice and large. It's smaller than the front, but you can stick your mobile phone in there, some food, perhaps a bottle of water, that sort of thing. But it's very, very good. So there you go. This is a very quick, fast and dirty review of the Dacia Sandero. And all I can really say about it is that it is a fabulous value motor car, and has been nothing but a pleasure. And there you go, the Dacia Sandero.